Pratibha ma'am, Harak ma'am, good afternoon to all of you.
Good
Good
afternoon, sir.
afternoon, sir.
Sunandita ma'am, can you hear me? Sunandita ma'am, am I audible?
পিকে শুরু করো।
I apologize for the delay. We are going to start as soon as our Vice Principal sir joins with us. Apparently there are some technical problems which is going to be resolved in a moment, and we are going to start shortly. Thank you for your patience.
Audio on. Prashant Babu.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes.
Sunita ma'am, please commence the program.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll begin now. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all students, faculty members, researchers to this webinar organized by the Women's Cell and Department of Political Science in collaboration with IQAC, Bidhan Chandra College, Rishra on women's health and nutrition. Educating women about nutrition and its importance can play a major role in promoting the health of the country's population. Adequate nutrition is primarily an issue of rights and not just utility alone. We will dwell more on that, but first, I would request our Vice Principal, sir, to give his welcome address and officially inaugurate the webinar. Sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable dignitaries, dear colleague, research scholars, and affectionate participants, and convener of the webinars and coordinator of the webinar. Good afternoon to everyone. It is a really great pleasure and privilege to be present in the national webinar organized by the Women's Cell and Department of Political Science in association with IQAC Bidhan Chandra College, Risra. Being the head of the institute, I must congratulate the convener of the Women's Cell and the Professor of Political Science Department, Prashant Kumar Sharma, as they have taken initiative to organize the national webinar. I would like to convey my best wishes and regards to our resource person, Professor Mrs. Pratibha Bhatti, Public Health Nursing Officer, South Delhi Municipal Corporation, and Ms. Harak Bakshi, Clinical Dieting and Consulting Nutritionist, Vadodara, Gujarat. I would be immensely grateful as they have responded to our invitation despite their busy schedule. I convey my best wishes to our governing body president and all governing body member for moral support to organize the national webinar. I sincerely believe that this kind of webinars would a positive report among the students and all faculty members of our college. I sincerely believe that this kind of webinars, this kind of webinar, the participant would repay sound harvest from the webinar. I wish a warm success of the day's webinar. Once again, thanking you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words of encouragement and support. Social stereotypes create norms in such a way that women often eat at the end and often the least to be appreciated as good wives and mothers. This stereotypical thinking paves challenges towards addressing women's nutrition. Along with this, there are misconceptions on diet and nutrition related to obesity and other chronic problems. Most of these are related to issues of appearance and not women's health. It is quite a complicated discourse, for which I would invite Madam Pratibha Bhatti, who is currently working as a public health nursing officer with South Delhi Municipal Corporation. She is trained in ACLS, that is Advanced Cardiac Life Support, from AHA, American Heart Association. She is also trained in basic life support and she is also an instructor. She is also a master trainer in South Delhi Municipal Corporation. I cordially invite you and thank you, ma'am, for joining us as a chair for this webinar despite your busy schedule. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here. And thank you, Dr. Ramesh Kar, for inviting me here and for such an encouraging address. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pratibha, working as Public Health Nursing Officer in South Delhi Municipal Corporation. Being a woman, I'm very passionate about women's health, nutrition, and wellness, which is more challenging, diverse, and often being misunderstood. We are meeting in an extremely extraordinary times. And in this pandemic period, lot of talks are there about mortality, morbidity, but somehow the fact that the good nutritional population could have helped good immunity levels have not come forward to the extent that they should have. I think this is the ideal time when we start the discussion about women health. Not in the traditional sense, but in the sense of actually making every woman healthy. Let me begin by saying that National Family Health Survey shows 33% of the women in the age group 15 to 49 fall under malnourishment category. And I was really shocked when I saw that as per the census 2011, every third woman in India is undernourished and every second woman is anemic. That means 55% of the population of women in India is anemic. According to national survey, 40% of the population, in which majority is of women in India, consume less than 80% of the energy requirement. Although lots of abhiyan are going on to improve the nutritional status of women, in fact, lot of improvement has been seen, but it's not about the numbers and it's not about the data. It's about general well-being of a woman that should really be concerned. I think we need to connect nutrition to the general well-being of women. The nutritional status of women is important both for the quality of their own lives and the survival and healthy development of their children. Today's event is an effort to enlarge our common understanding of how each person can take action now and together create transformative pathways for healthy women. With this, we are delighted to have been joined by an esteemed speaker today to enlighten us on women health and nutrition. It is indeed a great honor for me to introduce Ms. Harak Bakshi, founder owner of Lattice Eat with Harak. Ms. Harak Bakshi is a clinical dietitian, consulting nutritionist, and a diabetes educator. Ms. Harak also visited endocrinologist clinic and had an extensive experience of dietitian practice from many hospitals. Again, it is my privilege to invite you to give us the guidance and take us forward so as to where we should move as far as women's health and nutrition in India is concerned. Now it's over to you, Harak ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Pratibha Bhati ma'am, for this very kind introduction. I thank Women's Cell and Department of Political Science in association with IQAC, Vedant Chandra College, Rishra, University of Calcutta, for this invite. I thank Chief Patron Dr. Sudipto Roy sir, Patron Dr. Ramesh Kar sir, Chair Mrs. Pratibha Bhati ma'am, Professor Suninda Sarkar ma'am, and Professor Prashant Sharma sir for inviting me to deliver this talk on women's health and nutrition, which is a very important topic right now. Shall I share my screen now?
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes, visible to everyone, I think.
Okay, yeah. So let's start. Balanced nutrition and a healthy diet can support your body in many ways. Whether you're looking to improve your energy and mood, combat stress, or boost fertility, what you fuel your body with can make an impact. Trying to balance the demands of family and work or college, and also cope up with social media pressure to look and eat in a certain way can make it difficult for any woman to maintain a healthy diet. But the right food can not only improve your mood, boost your energy, and help you maintain a healthy weight, it can also support you through the different stages in a woman's life. As women, many of us are frequently prone to neglecting our own dietary needs. You may feel that you are too busy to eat well or used to putting the needs of your family before your own. Or perhaps you are trying to stick to an extreme diet that leaves you short on vital nutrients and feeling cranky, hungry, and low on energy. Women's specific needs are often neglected by dietary research too. Nutritional studies tend to rely on making subjects whose hormone levels are more stable and predictable, thus sometimes making the results irrelevant or making misleading or even be misleading to women's needs. All this can add up to serious shortfalls in your daily nutrition. While what works best for one woman may not always be the best choice for another, the important thing is to build your diet around your vital nutritional status. Whether you're looking to improve your energy and mood, combat stress or PMS, boost fertility, enjoy a healthy pregnancy, or ease the symptoms of menopause, these nutritional tips will help you to stay healthy, active, and vibrant throughout your ever-changing life. Now, why do women's nutritional needs differ from those of men? That's a very great question. And it's very important to acknowledge that men and women have differing nutritional status and needs as a result of differences in their bodies. As children, boys and girls' dietary needs are largely similar, but when puberty begins, women start to develop unique nutritional requirements. And as we age, our bodies go through more physical and hormonal changes. Our nutritional needs continue to evolve, making it important that our diets evolve to meet these changing needs. For example, hormonal changes associated with menstruation, childbearing, and menopause mean that women have higher risk of anemia, osteoporosis, and various nutritional deficiencies. For this reason itself, it's important that women to include foods rich in calcium, vitamin D, B complex vitamins, and iron in their diet to maintain bone health and prevent anemia. Women also tend to lose more lean mass than over time due to age and childbearing. Therefore, a regular exercise regime that includes weight training and/or high-intensity workouts should be a part of your routine. If you're not doing this right now, it's never too late to start. Now, this is a healthy eating plate. Use this eating plate as a guide for creating healthy, balanced meals, whether served at the table or packed in a lunchbox. No single food can provide all the nutrients that your body needs. That is why you need to eat a wide variety of foods in the right amounts to meet your daily nutritional needs. But eating healthier, balanced meal does not have to be that complicated. My Plate, My Healthy Plate is an easy to understand visual guide designed by the Health Promotion Board. It helps you adopt healthier eating patterns, which in turn can help you better manage your weight and ward off all the chronic diseases. Now, for those of you who are trying to lose weight or shed those extra kilos, instead of cutting out in a food group entirely, use this quarter-half proportions to get in all the vital nutrients that your body needs to function well. Just reduce your overall meal proportion size and stay active to achieve your goals. Make most of your meals with vegetables and fruits as shown here, which is half of your plate. Aim for more color and variety in choosing your vegetables and fruits every day. So what you can do is every day try to add in one extra color of
I'm
your.
sorry to interrupt. I think, ma'am, your slides are not changing. It is stagnant.
Yeah, no problem. It is the same slide.
Oh, it's the same slide. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
is this healthy plate, right? Is that
Yes,
slide
yes.
showing?
It's a healthy
Yeah.
plate, yes.
Yeah, okay. So aim for more color and variety in your vegetables and fruits, which is shown here, which is half of your plate. So every day, try to include one more color of your choice of vegetable and fruit in your meal. Go for whole grains, which is 1/4 of your plate shown here. Whole and intact grains like whole wheat, barley, jowar, bajra, ragi, quinoa, oats, which we use in everyday lifestyle, and foods made with them, such as whole wheat bread or pizza base, have a milder effect on blood sugar and insulin than white bread or white rice or other refined grains. Now add 1/4 portion of protein in your regular meal, which is shown here. Add protein sources like pulses, dals, meals, fish, poultry, milk and milk products, and nuts, which are all healthy, versatile protein sources. They can be mixed into salads and pair well with vegetables on a plate. Limit red meat and avoid processed meats such as bacon and sausage. Now, healthy oils usage should be in moderation. Choose healthy vegetable oils like soybean oil, canola oil, olive oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, peanut, and other oils, and avoid partially hydrogenated oils which contain unhealthy trans fats. Remember that low-fat diet does not mean healthy, but a low-fat diet in moderation is what you're looking for here. Also remember that olive oil, which is nowadays very popular in cooking, do not use that for Indian cooking, which is done on high flame. Drink enough water, tea, or coffee. Skip those sugary drinks and instead include coconut water, lemon water, infused water, or buttermilk. Get active and stay active. In addition to eating healthier meals, being physically active is essential to maintaining good health. Adults should aim for around 150 minutes of physical activity every week, which comes down to 30 minutes per day. The main message of this healthy plate is to focus on diet quality. The type of carbohydrate in the diet is more important than the amount of carbohydrate in the diet, because some sources of carbohydrate like whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and whole grain products and beans are healthier than the others. The healthy eating plate also advises you all to avoid sugary beverages, a major source of calories, usually with limited or very little nutritional value. The healthy eating plate ensures everyone to use healthy oils, and the daily consumption of fats is said to be approximately 3 teaspoons per day, which is around 15 ml for a healthy individual. Usage of healthier cooking methods is very important. Try healthier cooking methods such as boiling, grilling, roasting, baking, stir frying, and steaming instead of deep frying. Healthy eating is all about balance. You can enjoy your favorite foods even if they are high calories, fat, or added sugars. For example, if you are a fan of Maggi, next time when you try having Maggi, add in more vegetables and make it a healthier option. The key is eating them only once in a while and balancing them with healthier foods and more physical activity. Now, some general tips for your comfort or your favorite foods would be eat them less often. So if you normally eat these foods every day, cut back to once a week or once a month. Eat smaller amounts. If your favorite high calorie food is, say, suppose a chocolate bar, have a smaller size or have only half a bar. Try a lower calorie version. Use lower caloric ingredients or prepare food differently. Say, for example, if you are making macaroni and cheese, the recipe includes whole milk, butter, and full fat cheese. So instead, what you can do is include non-fat or low-fat milk, less butter, and low-fat cheese. Add in some extra vegetables. Just remember to not increase your portion size. So this is a food pyramid. The food pyramid is designed to make healthy eating easier. This shows the different food groups and how much of each we need to have in a healthy diet. Eating the right amount from each food group is called eating a balanced diet. According to the healthy food pyramid, a variety of foods should be consumed from all food groups as well as within each group to obtain different nutrients and to maintain our daily needs. Eating too much or too little is not good for our health. Even if you are having only good foods, also that keep in mind that is required in moderation. In 1992, the US Department of Agriculture, which is USDA, came up with its own version closer to this one that we know today. The base of this pyramid was formed with the group of cereals, bread, and rice, was followed by the group consisting of almost equal parts of vegetables and fruits, then the protein in equal parts, and at the tip, the foods used only from time to time. The old pyramid presented the food groups in a percentage manner of the daily caloric requirement, and for this reason, they had very limited practical acceptability. Today, the indications are expressed in portions of foods whose daily consumptions will provide the essential nutrients. This current pyramid aims to obtain the majority of energy from carbohydrates while limiting the fat intake. The healthy eating pyramid is based on the concept of balance between three nutritional principles: proteins, sugars, and fats, making a clear distinguishment between foods that can be consumed in large quantities without damaging your health, and focusing on foods that should be avoided or consumed in smaller or limited quantities. The saying, "what we eat, we are," has never been more true given the varied food supply, which tends to mislead the population regarding the notion of healthy eating. It should be borne in mind that the food pyramid is addressed to healthy people. That are some exceptions, like children, sportsmen, and pregnant women, whose needs are different than those of regular normal people. The food pyramid refers to the classification of foods according to the ideal proportion of each food in the daily diet. From the point of view of positive effect that different foods have on our health, to the foods at the peak, which should be consumed with caution and in smaller quantities. Climbing each floor of this pyramid correlates with decreasing the amount of food but it must be understood that no other food is forbidden, but only recommended to eat in moderation. In other words, the basic principle is balanced. We have seen many diets wherein people just avoid one food group entirely. So that shouldn't be done. Have everything, but in moderation. Each day, we need a specific amount of nutrients to maintain optimum health. If we do not eat enough, subnutrition and symptoms of various deficiencies appear. Obesity can be achieved when we consume an excessive amount of any food, even if it is healthy food. Therefore, the right amount of food should be consumed in order to stay healthy. Eating well is very important for all of us. In the short term, it can help us to feel good and at a healthy weight. In the long term, a healthy balanced meal can reduce the risk of all heart diseases, diabetes, osteoporosis, and cancers. This healthy eating pyramid and the plate which was shown in the previous slide complement each other. The healthy eating pyramid is a simple visual guide to the types and portions of food that we should have for our good health. This pyramid organizes foods into 5 main shelves. A shelf for each group. The most important shelf is on the bottom and the least important is at the top. These foods are the basis of healthy diets, low in saturated fats, cholesterol, sugar, and sodium. It is also remarkable that they can reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Foods at the base of the pyramid should be accompanied by foods high in protein, graphically represented here in the third level. What's on each shelf? Let's see that. The lowermost shelf consists of vegetables, salads, and fruits. The second shelf from bottom consists of all the whole grain cereals and breads and potato, rice, everything. Then the third column is all the protein sources, which are milk and milk products. The next column is meat, poultry, fish, eggs, beans, and nuts. And above that is fats and oils. And the topmost shelf, which is to be taken in a very restricted amount, are foods and drinks high in fat and sugar. You can think of this healthy pyramid as a grocery list. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, healthy oils, and healthy proteins like nuts, beans, fish, and chicken should make it into the shopping cart every week, along with a little of your dairy products like yogurt or buttermilk. The healthy eating pyramid also addresses other aspects of healthy lifestyle, which include exercise, weight control, and moderation in alcohol for those who consume. This plate that was shown earlier and the comparison of this pyramid summarizes the best dietary information available today. They aren't set in stone, though, because nutritional researchers will undoubtedly turn up new information in the years coming. This healthy eating pyramid and the plate will change to reflect important new evidence according to our current lifestyle. Now, malnutrition refers to deficiencies, excess, or imbalances in a person's intake of energy and or nutrients. The term malnutrition covers two broad categories. One is undernutrition, which includes stunting, wasting, underweight. The other is overweight, obesity, and diet-related non-communicable diseases, which are heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and cancer. Malnutrition can lead to serious health issues, including stunted growth or eye problems, diabetes, and heart disease. Malnutrition affects billions of people worldwide. Some populations have a high risk of developing certain types of malnutrition depending on the environment, lifestyle, and resources. Undernutrition occurs when not enough essential nutrients are consumed or when they are excreted more rapidly than they can be replaced. Overnutrition occurs in people who eat too much, eat the wrong things, don't exercise enough, or take too many vitamins or other dietary supplements. Risk of overnutrition is increased by being more than 20% overweight or consuming a diet which is high in fat and salt. People who are undernourished often have deficiencies in vitamins and minerals, especially iron, zinc, vitamin A, and iodine. However, micronutrient deficiencies can also occur with someone who is having overnutrition. It's possible to be overweight or obese from excessive caloric consumption, but not getting enough vitamins and minerals at the same time. That's because foods that contribute to overnutrition, such as fried foods and sugary foods, tend to be high in calories and fat, but low in all the other essential nutrients. Undernutrition typically results from not getting enough nutrients in your diet. This causes many things like weight loss or loss of fat and muscle mass, hollow cheeks and sunken eyes, a swollen stomach, dry hair and skin, delayed wound healing, fatigue, irritability, depression and anxiety. People with undernutrition may have one or several of these symptoms. Undernutrition can also result in micronutrient deficiencies. Since undernutrition leads to serious physical health issues, it can increase other issues as well. The main signs of overnutrition are overweight and obesity, but it can also lead to nutrient deficiencies. Research has shown that people who are overweight or obese are more likely to have inadequate intakes and low blood levels of certain vitamins and minerals compared to those who are at a normal weight and having a normal BMI. Overweight and obesity can result from an overconsumption of fast and processed foods that are high in calories and fat. A study in over 17,000 adults and children found that those who ate fast food had significantly lower intakes of vitamins A and C and higher calorie, fat, and sodium consumption than those who are abstained from this type of diet. Tools that are used to identify this malnutrition includes weight loss and body mass index charts, blood tests for micronutrient status, and other physical exams. So if you have a history of weight loss and other symptoms associated with undernutrition, your doctor or dietitian may add on other additional tests to identify other micronutrient deficiencies. If you are overweight or obese and eat mostly processed and fast foods, you may not be getting enough or essential vitamins or minerals. To find out if you have nutrient deficiencies, consider discussing your dietary habits with your doctor and dietitian. BMI is one of the most effective, easiest, and cheapest options for us to track obesity at a population level, which is very important. A high body mass index is correlated with a higher body fat levels, and studies have shown that body mass index can be an accurate way to determine disease and mortality risk of an individual. In people whose BMI classifies them as having obesity have been shown to be at a significantly greater risk of developing chronic diseases, including heart disease and kidney disease, than people within the normal BMI range. Now, people whose BMI classifies them as underweight are also at a risk of developing other diseases. Even though you all should not view BMI as a very reliable measure of health on its own, healthcare professionals use this in combination with other diagnostic tools and assess a person's health and monitor their risk of disease, and not entirely depend on only BMI for a health assessment. Now, BMI is calculated as your weight in kilograms divided by the square of height in meters. So you can calculate yours right now and see where do you fall in this index. Although BMI can be used for most often men and women both, it does have few limitations. It may overestimate body fat in athletes and others who have a muscular build, meaning who have more muscles. It may also underestimate body fat in other older people and others who have lost muscle base. For people who are considered obese and have 2 or more risk factors, it is recommended that they should lose their body fat. Even a very small amount of weight loss will help lower the risk of developing other diseases associated with obesity. People who are overweight do not have a high waist measurement and have fewer things that 2 risk factors may need to prevent further weight gain than lose the weight. So if you have a BMI of less than 18.5, which is considered underweight, you may be at a higher risk for developing malnutrition, anemia, a weakened immune system, osteoporosis. If you are underweight, your healthcare provider will likely order other certain blood tests which you need to do and get yourself checked. In general, the higher your BMI, the higher your risk for heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, osteoporosis, even sleep apnea, depression, and other mental health issues. It's important to remember that you could have any of the above health conditions without even having a high BMI, so which is possible. Similarly, you could have a high BMI without having any of these conditions. Genetics and other factors such as smoking cigarettes play a larger role in developing these conditions. So I'll also tell you one formula to check if your weight is ideal or not. So this formula is only for females. So check your weight. You need to minus 105 from your height. So if your height is say 160 centimeters minus 105, which comes up to around 55 kilograms. So that should be your ideal weight approximately. But we should not solely rely on this, but this will just give you an idea. Another way to estimate your potential disease risk is to measure your waist circumference. Excessive abdominal fat may be serious because it places you at greater risk for developing obesity-related conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and coronary artery disease. Your waistline may be telling you that you have a higher risk of developing these conditions. If you are a man whose waist circumference is more than 40 inches and a non-pregnant woman whose waist circumference is more than 35 inches. Waist circumference can be used as a screening tool, but is not the diagnostic of the body fatness of a health of an individual. Now, what are key nutrients? Micronutrients and macronutrients. Macronutrients are the nutrients that we need in larger quantities that provide us with energy. In other words, they are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Macronutrients are the nutrient components of foods that the body needs for energy and to maintain the body's structure and systems. No healthy diet should exclude or seriously restrict any of these macronutrients. Now we have seen that people restrict carbohydrates entirely for weight loss or any other outcome. So that should not be done. They are considered essential nutrients, meaning your body cannot make them or cannot make enough of them. For example, proteins provide essential amino acids, while fats contain essential fatty acids. Your body utilizes these components for specific functions inside the body. Macronutrients also contain energy in the form of calories. Carbs are the main energy source, but your body can use other macronutrients for energy if needed. So carbohydrates provide 4 calories per gram. Protein also provides 4 kilocalories per gram, but fat provides 9 kilocalories per gram. We generally get our micronutrients along with the macronutrients. Protein containing foods such as milk and milk products, pulses, dals, beans, fish, meat or eggs are sources of iron, calcium and vitamin D. For example, carbohydrates containing foods such as fruits and vegetables provide a wide variety of vitamins, minerals and fiber, while starchy carbohydrates such as rice or whole grains and cereals provide fiber and also B vitamins and magnesium. Fats provide us with essential vitamins like A, D, E and K. Now, don't get too hung up on the perfect balance, as what works for one person may not suit the other person. Some people count macros to lose weight. The balance of food groups you consume is very important, as it affects how satisfied you feel with your meals and whether you are getting all the nutrients that you need. Counting macronutrients may involve keeping a food diary, which can help you check the balance of all the nutrients you are getting from your food and over the time help you to eat healthier. You can obtain these macronutrients from the foods you eat. it's important to eat a variety of foods to get enough of each macronutrient. Most foods contain a combination of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Now, some foods are high in one specific macronutrient, while other foods contain high amounts of other two nutrients and fall into two macronutrient deficient groups. Now, few sources of carbohydrates are whole grains, fruits, vegetables, even we get carbohydrates from beans and legumes and dairy products. Sources of proteins include eggs, poultry, red meat, seafood, milk and milk products, dairy, dals, legumes, pulses, nuts, and seeds. Now, sources of fat include all the seed oils and nuts and seeds, dairy products. So each macronutrient has specific functions in our body. During digestion, they break down into smaller parts. These parts are then used for body functions like energy production, muscle building, and giving structure to our cells. We shall see why these macro and micro are important in the next coming slides. Specifically, the United States Department of Agriculture dietary guidelines, they have recommended have acceptable micronutrient distribution ranges. So there are particular ranges wherein these macronutrients should be consumed, which means that carbohydrates should be 45 to 65% of your overall daily dietary intake. Proteins should come from 10 to 35% of your daily calories that you consume in a day. Fats should come from 20 to 35% of your daily caloric needs. These guidelines also recommend that adults get at least 130 grams of carbohydrates per day, which is for a normal regular individual having a normal BMI. If there isn't enough glucose available, which we get it from carbohydrates, which can happen if you follow a strict keto diet or have issues regulating your insulin levels due to conditions like diabetes, your body is able to get energy breaking down from fat and protein. When it comes down to protein, the recommended daily allowance of protein for an adult is at least 1 gram per kg of your body weight. Keep in mind though that the appropriate amount of macronutrients for each person varies based on your age, activity level, and other circumstances. For example, children and adolescents, they may need more calories from fat than adults do for a proper brain development. Other adults, on the other hand, need more protein to preserve their muscle mass. Athletes and other highly active people often need more carbs and protein than those who are less active. They should aim for higher end of the recommended ranges. Extra protein supports muscle building after exercise, while carbohydrates provide calories to replenish the energy stores. So if you are trying to lose weight, you might benefit from eating slightly below the recommended range of calories from carbohydrates and above the recommended range of protein. Extra protein can help you feel full, while fewer carbohydrates can promote a caloric deficit. Micronutrients, which are shown here on the right side, are one of the major groups of nutrients your body needs. They include vitamins and minerals. Vitamins are necessary for energy production, immune function, blood clotting, and other functions. Meanwhile, minerals play an important role in growth, bone health, fluid balance, and several other processes. The term micronutrient is used to describe vitamins and minerals in general. Your body needs smaller amount of micronutrients relative to macronutrients, and that is why they are called micro. Humans, we all must obtain these from foods since our body cannot produce vitamins and minerals for the most part. That's why they are referred to as essential nutrients. Vitamins are organic compounds made from plants by plants and animals, which can be broken down by heat, acid, or air. So on the other hand, minerals are inorganic, which exist in the soil or water and cannot be broken down. So when you eat, you consume vitamins that plants and animals created or the minerals they absorbed. The micronutrient content of each food is very different. So it's best to eat a variety of foods to get enough of these vitamins and minerals. An adequate intake of all micronutrients is necessary for optimal health, as each vitamin and mineral has a very specific role in our body. Vitamins and minerals are vital for growth, immune function, brain development, and many other functions. Depending on their function, certain micronutrients also play a role in preventing and fighting certain diseases. Carbohydrates. Let's see if carbohydrates are good for us or bad for us. Carbohydrates or carbs are sugar molecules. Along with proteins and fats, carbohydrates are one of the three main nutrients found in foods and drinks. Your body breaks down carbohydrates into glucose. Now, glucose or the blood sugar is the main source of energy in our body cells, tissues, and organs. Glucose can be used immediately or stored in the liver and muscles for later use. The health benefits of carbohydrates include energy for the body. They help us to sleep better. They help in preventing diseases, help us to control or manage our weight. They help us to keep memory sharp, help in uplifting moods, provides fiber to our body, prevents blood clots, improves the digestive system. So, most importantly, they provide the energy for the most obvious functions of our body, such as moving or thinking, but also for the background functions that most of the time we do not even notice. Interestingly, carbohydrates also play an important role in the structure and functioning of our cells, tissues, and organs. Now, carbohydrates provide us with energy to carry out all the bodily functions. They affect our blood sugar and insulin levels, as well as our fat metabolism. They affect our dental health. They also support our digestive system, ensuring that we have regular bowel movements and a healthy gut environment. They support and affect the absorption of specific nutrients like calcium during the digestion process. They help us feel satisfied after our meals. Sugars are important to our daily functioning, particularly glucose, as it is a direct energy source for our brain and muscles. Yet the availability of many sugar-rich foods has led to an overall increased intake of sugars in the average diet of people in recent decades. Particularly sugars in liquid form have been directly linked to overweight and obesity. Though there are many different benefits of carbohydrates, we need to make sure that we are eating them in moderation. A carbohydrate-intensive diet can cause high blood pressure and unwanted weight gain. But it's important that we eat an appropriate amount of healthy carbohydrates in order to meet our body's nutritional needs and maintain a healthy weight overall. Carbohydrates are our body's main source of energy. They help us fuel brain, kidneys, heart, muscles, and certain nervous system. For instance, for example, fiber is a carbohydrate that aids in digestion and helps us feel full and keeps the blood cholesterol levels in check. So our body can store extra carbohydrate in the muscles and liver for use when we are not getting enough carbohydrates from our diet. A carbohydrate deficit diet can cause headache, fatigue, weakness, difficulty concentrating, nausea, constipation, and vitamin and mineral deficiencies. To reap the benefits of carbohydrates, we should choose carbohydrates loaded with nutrients. Carbohydrates are also known under many names which usually refer to specific group of carbohydrates like sugars or simple and complex carbohydrates, resistant starch, dietary fibers, prebiotics. The different names come from the fact that these carbohydrates are classified depending on the chemical structure, but also based on their role and source in our diet. We should overall avoid added sugar, processed foods, refined grains like white bread or refined bread, sodas, and other sugary drinks and sweets as much as possible. To help us look and feel better for ourselves, we should choose nutrient-dense, healthy carbohydrates. We should always try to have the whole fruit instead of juicing it. An orange has 2 times as much fiber and half as much sugar as a glass of orange juice. Whole wheat bread is often made with refined flour, and bread products are often high in sodium. So next time when you go buy a bread packet, a brown bread packet from the market, try to look for the word refined flour. If it says it has refined flour, it means that the brown bread is not entirely made from wheat. It contains maida. So try to choose your brown bread accordingly. Having brown, read and choose white bread, or you can choose wheat bread or multigrain bread instead. We hear all the time that we should have high protein diets and let's see why these proteins are important for us. Are you getting enough protein in your diet? I think as Indians we all find it very difficult to maintain or reach our protein intake for a day. While we may watch our calories, sugar and salt intake, we should also make sure that we are getting enough proteins. Protein is very crucial for our good health. In fact, this name comes from a Greek word proteos, which means primary or first place. Proteins are made up of amino acids that join together and form a long chain. You can think of protein as a string of beads in which each bead is an amino acid. So proteins are the building blocks of our lives. Every cell in the human body contains proteins. You may need protein in your diet to help your body repair cells and make new ones. Protein is also important for growth and development in children, teens, and pregnant women. Your body needs protein for growth and maintenance of tissues. Yet our body's proteins are in constant state of turnover. Under normal circumstances, our body breaks down the same amount of protein that it uses to build and repair tissues. Other times, it breaks down more protein than it can create, thus increasing our body's needs. This typically happens in periods of illness or during pregnancy and while breastfeeding. People recovering from an injury or surgery, older adults and athletes require more protein as well. Some proteins are hormones, which are chemical messengers that aid communication between our cells, tissues, and organs. Some proteins are fibrous and provide cells and tissues with stiffness and rigidity. These proteins include keratin, collagen, and elastin, which help form this connective framework of certain structures inside our body. Keratin is a structural protein found in our skin, hair, and nails. Collagen is the most abundant protein in our body and is structural protein of our bones, tendons, ligaments, and skin. The health benefits of proteins include they help us in muscle development, they help us with bone metabolism, they help us in controlling sugar levels. They slow down aging process, they prevent hair damage, they help us maintain an ideal weight, they prevent heart-related diseases, improve our immune system, help in hormone balance, and help us keep our skin healthy. Protein plays a role in many bodily processes, which include blood clotting or fluid balance or immune system buildup, vision or hormones and enzymes. How proteins can help us stay in shape is very important. Eating a high protein diet and foods have many health benefits, which include speedy recovery after exercise and or injury. They help us in reducing muscle loss. They help us in building a lean muscle. They help us in maintaining a healthy weight and also prevents in hunger. Another benefit of protein is that it fills you up faster. So proteins plus fiber keeps us full for a long time, which means we don't feel the urge to eat as often. This helps keep weight down and while fueling our cells with the right amount of nutrients they need. Some or few weight loss programs like the Atkins diet and the ketogenic diet call for high amount of protein and fat while limiting the carbohydrates. But few researchers have shown that they seem to primarily work only in the short term. One reason may be that people aren't able to stick with this type of eating pattern over a long period of time. So be mindful of what diets you try. Focusing just on protein and fat can keep you from all the other nutrients that your body needs, and that can lead to an unhealthy side effects. They can lead to fatigue, dizziness, headache, constipation. With increasing protein intake, it is very important to make sure that the diet still contains adequate amounts of fiber, such as in the form of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Replacing processed foods and sources of unhealthy fats or sugars in the diet with protein can promote a healthy full diet. Before making significant changes in your diet, it is good idea for you to just talk to your doctor or dietitian about the best strategies and tips. Protein deficiency can arise if a person has a health condition, including an eating disorder such as anorexia, certain genetic conditions, advanced stages of few cancers, difficulty absorbing nutrients due to a health condition such as irritable bowel syndrome, which is also called IBS, or there is some sort of surgery in the stomach. Very low protein intake can lead to weak muscle tone. There can be swelling due to fluid retention in few parts of the body, hands or legs. There would be thin or brittle hair. It can lead to skin lesions. In adults, there is a loss of muscle mass. In children, there are growth deficits. There can be hormonal imbalances. Protein shakes and protein powders contain very high amount of protein. Now, these protein powders may contain 10 to 30 grams of protein per scoop. They may also contain added sugars, flavorings, vitamins, and minerals. Now, these protein powders or shakes can come from plants such as peas or soybean, milk such as casein or whey protein, or from eggs. Bodybuilding and repairing muscle requires protein. Many athletes and bodybuilders use these protein powders to boost their muscle growth. A wide range of protein supplements is currently available, many claiming to encourage weight loss and increase muscle mass and strength. A 2018 review reported that taking protein supplements significantly improved muscle size, and strength in healthy adults who do resistant exercise such as weightlifting. However, these protein shakes and powders count as dietary supplements, and so they are not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. This means that people cannot guarantee that the products contain what the manufacturer claims they do. Some supplements may also contain banned or unhealthy substances such as heavy metals or pesticides. Many protein products are high in added sugar and calories, which can lead in spikes in blood sugar and also weight gain. So it is very important to check the labels of those protein products that you choose. Most people, including athletes, can get enough protein from a balanced diet without supplements. Now, getting too much protein consistently can also cause serious health problems. Some people may benefit from using protein powder to address certain health conditions, like, say, if someone has a reduced appetite, which may result from an older age or a cancer treatment. Someone who has a wound that is not healing, they can benefit, as protein can help the body repair and replace cells. Someone who has a medical condition such as serious burns that requires additional calories and protein. Now, how can you add protein in your diet? You can replace your regular snacks with high protein snacks such as nuts or roasted chickpeas and peanut butter. Add beans and peas to your soups or side dishes or even in your salads. These also make great main dishes. Include one high protein food with each meal. So you can include breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals. In that, try to include all the food groups. And then there should be carbohydrate source, there should be protein source, there should be fats, there should be milk and milk product in your meals. So you can make a healthy, balanced diet. Replacing a source of carbohydrate with a source of protein, such as swapping out a toast for an egg in the morning. This is something you can do to modify your diet. Before adding protein bars to the diet, always check the labels, as they can be high in sugar. Now, how are fats important to us? They support the absorption of vitamins. They are a great source of energy for our body. They help in brain development and function. They act as structural components of our cells. They also help certain types of health to keep a healthy heart and blood vessel. Fat gets a very bad reputation, even though it is a nutrient we need in our diets. The big concern is making sure we don't have too much fat. Now, we often ask, do we need to include oils and ghee in our diet? Yes, we do. Dietary fats are essential to give our body energy and to support cell function. They also help protect our organs and help keep our body warm. Fats help us absorb more nutrients and produce important hormones too. These are the four main types of fats. So one is polyunsaturated fat, which is an essential fat. We must get this from food because our bodies cannot produce it, and it helps us lower the bad cholesterol, which is LDL. Now, another type of fat is monounsaturated fat, which is considered a healthy fat. It lowers the bad cholesterol and helps maintain the good cholesterol, which is LDL. Another type of fat is saturated fat, which increases total cholesterol and LDL. It is best to consume this type of fat in moderation. And the last type of fat is trans fat, which is a byproduct of processing healthier fats to give them a longer shelf life. It raises the bad cholesterol and lowers the good cholesterol. So we should always try to limit this trans fat. There are 9 calories in every gram of fat, regardless of what type of fat it is. So fats are more energy dense than carbohydrates and proteins. they provide 4 calories, but fat provides 9 kilocalories. Consuming high levels of calories, regardless of any source, can lead to weight gain or overweight. Consuming high levels of saturated or trans fats can also lead to heart disease and stroke. We generally recommend replacing saturated fats and trans fats with MUFA and PUFA, which is monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats, while still maintaining a nutritionally adequate diet. Are all the foods labeled trans fat free healthy foods? Not necessarily. Foods labeled zero trans fat foods or cooked with trans fat free oils may contain a lot of saturated fats, which raise the bad cholesterol levels. Now, trans fat free foods may also be unhealthy in terms of their general other nutrient content. For example, if they lack trans fat, the baked goods may be high in other added sugars and low in other nutrients. You should always read the nutrition facts, if available, or the ingredient list to understand the big picture. Now, can fats be a part of healthy diet? Of course, eating foods with fats is definitely part of a healthy diet. To choose healthier fats, use liquid, non-tropical plant oils, low fat or non-fat instead of full fat dairy. And if you eat meat, lean meat or poultry is a better option. And remember to balance the amount of calories you eat from all foods with the amount of calories you use through physical activity. Trans fats tend to behave like saturated fats in the body, as they raise the blood LDL, which is the bad cholesterol levels, and increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Trans fats can also be found in some processed foods, like all the bakery products, the pastries, cakes, biscuits, and buns, and in deep fried takeaway meals. Limiting our daily intake of foods high in saturated fats, like all the bakery products and commercial fast food items, and potato chips, crisps, and other savory snacks is very important. Replacing the high fat foods that contain mostly saturated fats with foods that contain healthy polyunsaturated fats and monounsaturated fat alternatives is also very important. Remember that low fat diets are not suitable for children under the age of 2 years. If unsure of your dietary needs, please take guidance. Eat more fiber. You've probably heard this before. But do you know why fiber is so good for our health? Dietary fiber, found mainly in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, is probably best known for its ability to prevent or relieve constipation. But foods containing fiber can provide other health benefits as well, such as helping to maintain a healthy weight and lowering the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and some other types of other diseases. Dietary fiber, also known as roughage or bulk, includes the parts of plant foods our body cannot digest or absorb. Unlike the other food components such as fats, proteins, carbohydrates, which our body breaks down and absorbs, fiber isn't digested by our body. Instead, it passes relatively intact through our stomach, small intestine, and colon and out of our body. Fiber is commonly classified as soluble, which dissolves in the water, or insoluble, which doesn't dissolve. A high fiber diet is great for our body and for our digestion. Fiber also keeps us feeling full for longer. Fiber helps keep our digestion running very smoothly. Ingredients high in fiber can include the fruits and vegetables and whole grain cereals. Potential benefits of fiber include maintaining our blood glucose, aiding in weight loss or weight management, and helps in lowering cholesterol. Benefits of a high fiber diet are so many. It normalizes bowel movements. Dietary fiber increases the weight and size of our stool and softens it. A bulky stool is easier to pass. It also helps maintain bowel health. It helps lower cholesterol levels. Now, soluble fiber found in beans, oats, flaxseed, and oat bran may help lower total body cholesterol levels by lowering LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. There are many studies that have shown that high fiber foods may have other heart health benefits, such as reducing the blood pressure and inflammation in the body. Fiber also helps control our blood sugar levels. It helps people with diabetes. Fiber, particularly soluble one, can slow the absorption of sugar and help improve blood sugar levels. A healthy diet that includes insoluble fiber may also reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. It aids in achieving healthy weight. Now, high fiber foods tend to be more filling than low fiber foods. So if you are likely to eat less and stay satisfied longer, the high fiber foods tend to take longer to eat and to be less energy dense, which means that they have fewer calories for the same volume of food. If we aren't getting enough fiber each day, we may need to boost our fiber intake. Refined or processed foods, such as canned fruits or vegetables, pulp-free juices, white breads and pastas which are made from refined flour, and non-whole grain cereals are very low in fiber. The grain refining process removes the outer layer of the grain, which is called the bran, from the grain, which lowers its fiber content. Enriched foods have some of the B complex vitamins and iron added back after the processing, but not the fiber. Many snacks count. Now, fresh fruits, raw vegetables, low-fat popcorn are all snacking options, which are a healthier choice and good choices. A handful of nuts or dry fruits, but they should be unsalted, are a healthy high-fiber snack. Although be aware that the nuts and dry fruits are also high in calories. A high-fiber food are good for your health. By adding too much fiber too quickly can also sometimes promote intestinal gas or abdominal bloating and cramping. So increase your fiber in your diet gradually over few weeks. This allows the natural bacteria in our digestive system to adjust to the change. Also, drink plenty of water. Fiber works best when it absorbs water. Vitamins. Vitamins are vital for our good health, but needed in much smaller amounts than macronutrients like carbs, proteins, and fats. They are important for many daily bodily functions such as self-reproduction and growth, but most importantly for the processing of energy in cells. Most vitamins are provided by food, so they are classed as essential. Vitamins are team players, but they help other nutrients work better. For example, vitamin D enhances the absorption of calcium. Vitamin C is needed to absorb iron, and B complex vitamins work together in cells. Because only vitamins A, E, and B12 are stored in any significant extent in our body's regular intake of most vitamins is important. You can easily meet your daily vitamin needs by adding a range of foods from the 4 main food groups, which are vegetables and fruits, whole grain foods, milk and milk products, and a group of foods containing legumes, dry fruits, nuts, seeds, fish and other seafoods, eggs and poultry. Vitamins are divided into two groups, which are fat soluble, which are vitamin A, D, E, and K, and the water soluble, which are vitamin B and vitamin C. Minerals are important for our body to stay healthy. Your body uses minerals for many different jobs, including keeping our bones, muscles, heart, and brain working properly. Minerals are also important for making enzymes and hormones. There are two kinds of minerals, macro minerals and trace minerals. We need larger amounts of the macro minerals. They include calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, and sulfur. We only need small amounts of the trace minerals, which include iron, magnesium, copper, iodine, zinc, cobalt, fluoride, and selenium. Most people get the amount of minerals they need by eating a wide variety of foods. In some cases, if a doctor or a medical practitioner may recommend a mineral supplement. People who have certain health problems or take some medicines may need to get less of one of the minerals which may interact with the medication. For example, people with chronic kidney disease need to limit the items which are high in potassium. Now, calcium boosts bone health, relieves insomnia, and improves dental health. Magnesium helps, treats high blood pressure, lowers anxiety and stress. Potassium manages diabetes and boosts brain function. Iron aids in formation of hemoglobin. Zinc manages skin care, eczema, acne, heals wounds, and also night blindness. Sodium prevents sunstroke, improves brain functioning, and prevents premature aging. Phosphorus reduces muscle weakness and corrects all the sexual weakness. Iodine improves health, skin condition, and metabolism. To take enough calcium, one should incorporate dairy foods such as yogurt, milk, tofu, paneer, cheese, etc. in our everyday meals. Also, certain leafy vegetables like broccoli and kale have nutrition in them. Non-vegetarian people can also have fish like sardines and salmons for calcium. One can get phosphorus from red meat, fish, eggs, and poultry, while vegetables can get it from whole grains, oats, bread, rice, milk, and cheese. Now, these are the nutrients essential for women's health. 6 nutrients that women need the most are vitamin B6, which regulates mood, appetite, and sleep. Vitamin B12, which fights fatigue and improves alertness. Folate, which prevents brain and spinal defects in the first few weeks of pregnancy and also lowers risk of skin and colon and breast cancer. Vitamin D3. This vitamin strengthens bones, teeth, muscles, and also protects against autoimmune diseases and breast and ovarian cancer. Calcium helps us in reducing the PMS symptoms and also maintains the overall blood pressure. Iron helps in proper brain functioning. It boosts energy levels and also prevents anemia. Now, when should we pay extra attention to vitamins and minerals intake? During infancy and childhood, from the onset of menstruation to menopause, during pregnancy and lactation, during old age, when diets rarely include animal products, and when the sun exposure is low, and for people with darker skin, for vitamin D. Now, do we exercise enough? Want to feel better, have more energy, and even add years to our lives? Just exercise. The health benefits of regular exercising and physical activity are very hard to ignore. Everyone benefits from exercise regardless of their age, gender, or physical ability. Need more convincing to get moving? I'll give you a few reasons that lead to a happier, healthier you. Exercise controls weight, exercise improves mood, exercise boosts energy, exercise helps promote a better sleep, and exercise can be fun. Exercise and physical activity can be enjoyable. They give you a chance to unwind, enjoy the outdoors, or simply engage the activities that make us happy. Physical activity can also help us connect with family or friends. So take a dance class or hit the hiking trails or join a soccer team, football team. Find a physical activity that you enjoy and just do it. If you're bored, try another activity, but just keep moving. 30 minutes of daily exercise is recommended for a healthy individual. Premenstrual syndrome can hit you out of nowhere. If you feel irritated, bloated, or just plain tired, just when you think there isn't you can do to keep it under control, think again. We can have proper nutrition to improve PMS symptoms. Hormones fluctuate around this time of the menstrual cycle. Many women experience bloating, cramping, fatigue, and mood swings. The interplay of hormones throughout a woman's menstrual cycle affects her body and state of mind. Energy intakes are generally higher in the premenstrual phase, and some women also have food cravings as their period approaches. Some easy nutritional remedies, which include addressing bloating, backache, or cramping. Approximately 7 days before your cycle, reduce the amount of sugar and alcohol intake and increase your protein intake. Also, target the following food items which are high in omega-3 fatty acids like walnuts and flax seeds, magnesium, zinc, and other trace minerals. If you are having headache, hydrate well and eat foods high in nitric oxide such as beets and leafy greens. For cravings, increase your intake by 100 to 200 calories with carbohydrates. Eating high protein foods every few hours can often temper or stop food cravings. This should not be done at the expense of other food groups. So include all the food groups and make a healthy meal. If you are experiencing sleep disturbances, include chamomile tea and spearmint tea. Fluid retention is very common in these days leading up to a woman's period because certain hormones encourage the body to hold salt, which is sodium. The more the sodium the body holds, the more fluid retention happens in the tissues. Light to moderate exercise, such as 30 minutes, which we discussed earlier, is very necessary. Eat a variety and different colored fruits and vegetables. Eat more calcium and low-fat dairy products. Get your vitamin D, add in supplements if required, or get in more sunlight. Snack on dry fruits and nuts. Eat more complex carbohydrates. Include whole grains. Limit your consumption of alcohol. Limit caffeine intake, which is very important. And eat iron-rich foods such as green leafy vegetables, lean meats, etc. You need to increase iron intake before and during your period to replace what you have lost, which you lose each month. A diet that includes iron-rich foods like green leafy vegetables and lean meats helps us avoid anemia. While cooking, make sure we cut away any excess fat. The good news is that if you eat red meat, you should get enough iron from your food. If you are a vegetarian or you just don't like eating milk, we can add in other food options such as all the spinach, kale, broccoli, the green leafy vegetables, which add in more calcium, more iron to our diet. Now we'll just quickly discuss what are fad diets. They are the diets that promise quick weight loss and usually require us to eat only specific types of foods. this is a typical fad diet cycle that we can see over here. There is overly restriction in the food intake. Plus, we are told to not have foods that we like. We get fed up and binge on the foods eventually. We regain the whole lost weight. We feel disappointed in ourselves that why did we, stop the cycle? Then we find again, Google up, we find a new fad diet from someone or from Google, we start it over. So this is a very unhealthy cycle that should not be followed. When it comes down to fad diets, it's not hard to find popular diets on the internet. Just Google the word diet or a fad diet and the weight loss choices are very overwhelming. Low carb, high protein or liquid diet, right? There are so many. That's why it's important to choose one that is just right for you. Most importantly, before jumping into any fad diet, it is very essential to know that rapid weight loss is not sustainable. Quick weight loss diets are not healthy and the weight is likely to rebound when we begin eating normally again. Diets that claim that we don't have to exercise and are not the best option for our overall health. And if we cannot stay on a fad diet or popular diet for the rest of our life, it's better to not start the one. Follow something that we can sustain for a longer time. Make few changes in your daily routine and pick up a lifestyle which is sustainable for a longer time. These are the lifestyle and diet tips. You should always try to eat mindfully. Replace your packaged and snacks with foods which are healthy, like fruits or nuts, dry fruits. Add in vegetables to all your meals to increase your fiber intake. Reduce sugar intake. Incorporate prebiotics and probiotics in our diet. Try to avoid having high sugary foods. Try to avoid eating out less. Drink alcohol on very rare occasions only if you consume alcohol. Prepare your meals at home in the home-based cooking. Take your time. Try not to rush when you eat. Make the food your priority. Always try to plate your own meal so that you know what you are putting in your plate. You don't have to join the clean plate club. Try not to overeat. If you feel that you are full, try to stop there and not have the next bite. So this is a reality check on where do you stand. Are you often trying the latest diet? Yes or no? If you feel guilty, you ate your favorite foods, type on yes. Do you often skip breakfast? Choose an option. Do you spend 2 or more hours a day watching TV or using the computer? If you marked yes to 1 or more questions, then it's time to make healthy food choices and become more physically active. It can help you feel better, improve your health, and improve your overall weight. So the last thing that I will say is that consume all the food groups, don't restrict yourself, but keep in mind that moderation is the key. So let us eat wisely. You can reach out to us on these social media if you have any health condition which requires dietary management. Thank you.
Okay, Sunita ma'am, could you please start the question answer session, because the Pratibha ma'am is busy with the patients.
Pratibha ma'am is here. Pratibha ma'am is here. Ma'am.
Okay, so many questions were asked in the chat. I speak them one by one. And Harak ma'am, you please answer those questions. The first question is asked by Kushal. Which foods contain sufficient magnesium for daily needs?
Okay, so Kushal, you need to incorporate all the essential fruits and vegetables that we told, and there are few seeds that also help you in the intake of magnesium, which are say flax seeds or sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds that we get. You can incorporate that in your daily life.
Okay, ma'am. Now the next question is, it is asked by Prashant Kumar Sharma. Ma'am, what should be the healthy breakfast every day in terms of vegetarianism only? So for vegetarians, want to know what healthy breakfast they can have.
Okay, so for healthy breakfast, you can choose foods that are high in protein, which include your vegetables as well. So, for example, South Indian options are very easy to make and they are healthy. You can also incorporate dal chilas or other mixed dal chilas or paneer options like paratha or something which are high in protein. But one thing you need to keep in mind is that include more vegetables to increase your fiber intake itself.
So fiber intake is important.
Yes.
Now the next question is, which foods can we intake in the times of menstruation, which will help us to reduce the cramps?
Right. Okay. So try to cut down your sugar. If you are having more cravings, try to increase more protein in your in between meals. So, for example, you can add in peanuts and chana as a meal, add in dry fruits more so that your craving for salty or sweet foods is reduced. So that way you can plan your meals.
You're right. What is intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting is very much for interested everyone. So that is something which is basically a temporary weight loss. We don't promote that. So it is a temporary weight loss technique which we cannot follow it for a long time. If you wish to follow, you always need to have a healthcare practitioner to guide you through it. So it is not something that you Google up and start doing it, because eventually we're not going to follow it for a lifetime. So it is basically in a day, there is one window wherein you just have to eat during that window, and the extra hours you cannot eat anything. So it is a very small window wherein you need to consume those calories your body needs. So it is a bit of an unhealthy pattern which should not be followed.
So it means per day. Now the next question is, what should be the ideal food habits for pregnant women, and what are the ideal food for weight gain?
Okay, so for weight gain, it is very important to increase your overall calories and balance your meals. So you need to increase more of your protein and healthy fats and combine your protein and carbohydrate intake in all your meals. So overall, you need to increase your foods. If you are pregnant, we need to consume, there are added calories that are required for a pregnant woman. So include more of green leafy vegetables, include more of colored vegetables, and more of high fat, as in good fats, which come from peanuts and our basic ghee. So you can include that in all your meals and increase your calories gradually.
Now the next question is, what are the foods which will increase appetite?
Okay. So foods that increase appetite. So basically what you need to do is try to have small portions of foods every 2 to 3 hours. So if your appetite is very less, try to have say something 1 katori as of now, then after 2 hours have something else. So that way you are including more calories, but you are distributing the calories throughout the whole day. So that way you can plan.
Now the question is, what will you advise us to protect children from taking fast food habit?
Okay, so
That's hard to answer.
I know we have many clients who ask the same question. So what we do is, for example, if your child wants a pizza, which is an outside fast food, try to make an alternative version at your place. So you can have, for example, a bajra roti base, have in vegetables, add in vegetables in that, add in your homemade tomato sauces and everything. And instead of cheese, you can grate in paneer on that. So that is a healthy homemade version of a pizza. So that way, try to include more homemade foods and avoid outside fast foods.
Right, ma'am. Now the next question is taking vitamin tablets good for health?
No, if you are able to manage it through the diet, it's nothing more good than that. But if you are taking medications, you need to consult a health professional. If the professional assesses your body intakes, your blood test, if there is a deficiency, then of course it can be treated with medication. Otherwise, your diet suffices of every nutrient possible. So try to include all the diet foods that help you combat that deficiency.
And next question is, what should we have for breakfast? Same
Okay.
question.
Yeah, it's the same question. I think we can skip it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can a malnutrition person have oats and green tea?
Yes, of course. A malnutrition person is basically you can have all the food groups. Oats are a very good source of fiber and helps us in managing our weight. So you can always include that. There is one misconception that green tea helps reduce weight. It is a myth and it is not true. Green tea helps us in providing antioxidants. So you can include that, but for malnutrition, there are many other aspects and other food groups that you need to include. Increase your calories, increase your good calories that you include in your diet.
And here goes the next question. How many servings of vegetables and fruits we should have per day?
Okay.
That was told by you.
Around 5 servings of vegetables and fruits we should have every day.
How can I get rid of migraine? Is there any food which will help me to get rid of it?
Yes, you can include more of fruits and nuts which are high in anti-inflammatory foods like flax seeds and walnuts, which help you relieve your migraine. And you can also include certain teas like green tea also helps and chamomile tea also helps. There are few foods that help relieve migraine and increase your water intake. That really helps.
How one can increase weight?
I think we already answered that. No problem. Try to overall increase your calories, include more of carbohydrate-rich sources, include more of protein, have a balanced meal, and also exercise regularly. So that really helps.
And the last question is, what should I eat to increase height after 20?
Okay, so there is no one food that helps you increase height. Height is basically in your genetics. So just try to balance, maintain your height and weight and maintain your overall healthy BMI. So that is very important.
Yeah, I think all the questions have been covered. If
Okay.
any of you have any query, feel free to ask. Ma'am is still here.
Or you can contact later on also, no problem.
I just want to ask something. Which oil is good for eating?
Right, okay. So all the nut oils are good, but one thing is important in the intake of oil. You should always try to change or rotate your oils. As in every 3 monthly, try to change your oil. So as of right now, if you are using one type of oil, say for example, groundnut oil, try to change your oil after 3 months. Say for example, for sesame oil or cottonseed oil, or the seed oils are good, but you need to keep changing in to get all the benefits of all different oils.
One more question. Is there any disadvantage of pressure cooking?
No, pressure cooking is good. It is a good cooking method. You can use that.
Right. Is there any question? Anyone? Okay. Thank you so much, Tarak ma'am, for your enlightening words. Seriously, that has inspired a lot of people around there, and it was an eye-opening for me. So many myths were there, which
Right.
I myself had, and they
Right.
all have been cleared by you.
Pleasure
Thank
is
you.
all mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sunandita ma'am, do you want to say something?
Yes, there is a question on YouTube. Somebody has asked, Vaishali Varne. The question is not really clear, but I think it has something to do with proteins and fatty liver. I mean,
Okay.
protein is not full to fatty liver. The question is not very clear, but I think it has something to do with proteins and
Proteins.
fatty liver. Could you
Okay.
please address that,
Yeah,
ma'am?
sure. So for fatty liver, someone who has fatty liver, the consumption or the intake of fats is very important, as in how much we balance the oil intake, the ghee intake, and the foods which contain good fats. So that intake should be looked for. And as far as protein is related, intake of protein is generally very low in a normal individual, in the Indian individual. So there shouldn't be the protein intake, and fatty liver is not as much connected. So you can continue taking your protein, but try to avoid red meats. Opt for lean meats if you are a non-vegetarian, and consume more of dals and pulses in order to maintain a healthy protein. You don't need to go overboard, but just try to continue your protein intake.
I think, sure, with your permission, Pratibha ma'am, I think we've come to the end of the question and answer session. There aren't any more questions as far as I can see. And we've almost come to the end of the webinar, but before we conclude, I would like to deliver my vote of thanks to our esteemed speaker and esteemed chair. Thank you for being with us despite your busy schedule. Thank you, Harak ma'am. Thank you, Pratibha ma'am. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so
Um,
much, ma'am. Thank you
yes.
all the dignitaries for organizing this webinar. It was very knowledgeable, I think, for all of us. And thank you
Yeah,
for giving me this opportunity to come here and join you all.
this was a myth busting session. I have to admit that this was a myth busting session because we carry a lot of misinformation regarding diets, and thank you for busting all that.
No problem.
The appropriate and ambience in our college to host such webinars is due to the patronage of the president of the governing body, Dr. Shudipta Roy. We express our heartfelt gratitude for his constant support. We thank Dr. Ramesh Kaur, Vice Principal of our college, for his persistent encouragement and supervision of all aspects of our college. I take this opportunity to thank the academic in charge of our college, Professor Devdash De, who remains immensely conversant regarding academic affairs. Professor Shadhunath Kundu, Coordinator IQSC of our college, and Dr. Shubhajit Ghosh, Coordinator NAC and Bursar of our college, have been particularly encouraging with regard to the activities of the Women's Cell. I acknowledge the efforts of Professor Prashant Kumar Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, towards making this webinar possible. Dr. Abdul Khalik has been, Department of Physics, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, has been immensely patient and supportive with keeping track and technical execution of this webinar. I thank Dr. Saifuddin for his prompt response and supporting in streaming this webinar. Before I conclude, I must thank all teachers, students, and all members of the Women's Cell, researchers, for the interest and participation and making this webinar a success. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
we have come to the end of this webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please fill up the feedback link given in the chat box.